Most men never figure this out. They spend years doing everything right and losing anyway. This video is about why, and more importantly, what changes the moment you understand it. I know what you're thinking. Here we go. Another video telling me I need to be more confident. That's not what this is. This is something different. Because the men who are losing right now, they're not weak, they're not broken, they're not insecure. They're good men. Men who show up, who try, who give everything they have. And that's exactly the problem. Stay with me. Because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the one pattern that destroys good men in relationships and how it ends the moment you see it. Let me tell you about Marcus, 32 years old, successful, fit, emotionally available. He did everything she asked, communicated his feelings, planned romantic evenings, remembered her friends' names, her coffee order, the anniversary of her dog's birthday. He was the man every dating coach told him to be. And one evening, she looked at him across the dinner table and said, "I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore." He didn't understand. He came to me 2 weeks later. Still confused, still trying to figure out what he did wrong, and I told him something that changed everything. "Marcus, you didn't fail her. You became invisible to her." Stop for a second. Think about the last time you felt truly alive, fully in it, fully yourself, not adjusting, not managing, not trying. That version of you is what created the attraction, and the moment it disappeared, the attraction went with it. Here's why. The moment a man makes a woman his entire purpose, his entire world, his entire reason for trying, he stops being a man she looks up to and starts being a man she manages. That's not love. That's a slow erosion. And good men fall into it every single time because they care too much in the wrong direction. So why does this keep happening? Here's something most people won't tell you. Being fully committed isn't the problem. Disappearing inside the commitment, that's the problem. Ask yourself something right now. When was the last time you did something purely for yourself? Not for her, not to impress anyone, not to prove something, just because it made you feel alive. If you're struggling to answer that, that's the answer. Good men enter a relationship and slowly transfer all their energy into it. Their goals become our goals. Their time becomes our time. Their identity becomes her boyfriend. And it feels right because it looks like love. But here's what nobody tells you. Attraction is not created by devotion. It's created by tension. The tension between who you are and who she's still discovering. The moment she knows everything about you, has access to all of you, can predict every reaction. The tension disappears. And without tension, attraction quietly dies. Not with a fight, not with a dramatic exit, with a slow, quiet fade. And the good man is always the last to notice. Here's a fact most men find uncomfortable. The men who seem effortlessly attractive, they're not playing games, they're just living. They have something going on outside of any woman, a mission, a direction, a reason to get up in the morning that has nothing to do with her. And that life, that fullness, is the most attractive thing a man can have. Not his looks, not his money, his sense of direction. Write that down if you have to. A man without direction is a man without gravity. And nothing orbits something with no gravitational pull. 3 specific mistakes. Good men only. Pay attention. These aren't the obvious ones. These are the ones nobody warns you about because they look like virtues. Mistake 1. Being too available. Not just physically, emotionally. When she's upset, you fix it immediately. When she's confused, you have the answer. When she needs something, you're already there. It sounds like the perfect partner. But what it communicates is this: I have nothing more important than your problem right now. And over time, that becomes suffocating. Because a man who has no life more urgent than your mood is a man without a life. Ask yourself, does she know that sometimes you simply can't be reached? That's not coldness. That's the most attractive thing you can offer. Mistake 2. Seeking her approval. This one is subtle. Was that okay? Are you happy with Harsha? I do differently? It looks like communication. It looks like emotional maturity. But what she hears is, I need you to tell me I'm good enough. And no woman, no matter how much she loves you, can respect a man who needs her permission to feel worthy. Respect flows toward the man who already knows his value, not the man who asks for it. Mistake 3. Tolerating what you shouldn't. This is the most dangerous one because it happens slowly. She cancels plans last minute. You say it's fine. She speaks to you with less respect. You let it go to keep the peace. She contributes less and less. You compensate, quietly. And every time you tolerate it, you tell her one thing. This is acceptable. But here's what actually happens inside her. She doesn't feel grateful. She feels uneasy. Because deep down, every person knows when they're getting away with something they shouldn't. And the man who allows it loses something irreplaceable. Not just her respect. His own. Here's what I want you to notice. Every single one of these 3 mistakes looks like love on the surface. Being available, that's care. Seeking feedback, that's communication. Tolerating, that's patience. But underneath each one is a man who has stopped trusting himself, a man who has outsourced his confidence to someone else's reaction, and that's the real problem. Not her, you. So what does a good man actually do? Not a perfect man, not a cold man, not a man playing games, a good man who understands reality. 3 things. Starting now. First, rebuild your life outside the relationship, not against her, for you. Your mission, your goals, your friendships, the version of yourself that existed before she became the center of everything. That man is who she fell for. Bring him back. Because the most attractive version of you is the one who would be completely fine even if this didn't work out. Not because you don't care, because you care about yourself first. Second, stop explaining yourself. When you make a decision, make it. When you set a boundary, hold it. When you say no, no is a complete sentence. You don't owe an apology for having standards. You don't owe a justification for knowing your worth. The man who explains himself constantly is the man who doesn't fully believe in himself. And she can feel that. Third, let her come to you. Stop being the one who always initiates, always checks in, always makes sure everything is okay. Create space, not silence, not games, intentional space, and watch what happens. Because a man who pulls back doesn't create distance, he creates desire. Remember Marcus? He came to me invisible. 6 months later, he sent me a message. I stopped trying to be everything she needed. I started being everything I needed. And for the first time in years, I feel like myself again. He didn't win her back. He won himself back. And that's exactly the point. Because here's the loop I opened this video with. Most men never figure this out. They spend years doing everything right and losing anyway. But now you see it. It was never about doing more. It was never about being better for her. It was about being real for you. The man who is fully himself, with or without her approval, with or without her validation, with or without her at all, that man doesn't lose. He can't. Because he already has the one thing that actually matters. Himself. And here's the question I want to leave you with. Not, what does she want, but this. Who were you before you started changing yourself to keep her? Find that man. Become him again. Because he's not gone. He's just been waiting for you to stop asking for permission to come back. Drop one word in the comments. One word that describes the man you're becoming. Not who you were, who you're becoming. I read every single one. If this hit home, share it with a good man who needs to hear it. See you in the next one.